My name's Wagner, and I enjoy every year working with friends and now students of mine to try and find a fun living history project that we can work on that kind of wraps up around the Iron Heritage Festival here in Danville every July. So for the 2014 Iron Heritage Festival in Danville, we decided we wanted to take on a slightly colder summer project, and we decided we wanted to build an ice house. Traditionally now, ice houses served the purpose of taking ice in the winter months off of lakes, creeks, rivers, ponds, and storing it in a well enough insulated structure that then you'd have ice all spring, summer, and fall until the next winter months. You know, we take our refrigeration for granted. So there were really two different styles used historically. You had above ground structures, which were really nothing more than a really well insulated barn, and then there were below ground structures. Probably the most famous example of this that I'm aware of that you can see is down at Monticello. You can see where all the underground ice was stored there. We kind of did half and half. We built an above ground structure, but rather than make it like a barn, as you'll see in the video, we made ours about 3 feet thick in cement block, and on the outside we had several feet of fill that we piled in. So it was sort of an earthen mound, if you will. Our goal was to stock it with several hundred pounds of ice. It ended up being several tons of ice, and covered it over with sawdust, which was the traditional way of insulating the ice, to try and keep it protected from the outside air, and had a lot of success with it. Unfortunately, we didn't have the ability to wait all the way until next winter to see if our ice made it, because the spot where we picked it actually has some plans being made for that site, so we had to clear it away here. We're August 24th, so we're 1 week away from September. Opened it up yesterday, and I was pleased to dig down through the sawdust and still find quite a few pieces of ice. So enjoy the video. You'll get to see the process of how we constructed ours, how we did the tours, and then also some of the setbacks and things along the way. So enjoy the video.
Some floods come from water, some floods come from life. No matter what kind of flood you face, you need a boat to survive. The Lord said to Noah, there's gonna be a flood. Go round up all them critters and get them out of the mud. And it started with a board, just a piece of pine. Started with a board, and it ended fine. The biggest things in life, they gotta start small. You start with a board, and you build it tall. Crossing a great ocean, coming to America. Some by choice, some by chains, building a new world. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, just a few of the thousands that came. The greatest country there ever was, built by every race. And it started with a board, just a piece of pine. Started with a board, and it ended fine. The biggest things in life, they gotta start small. You start with a board, and you build it tall. Iron tracks, wooden ties, transcontinental lines. The world had never seen a railroad cross a nationwide. Promontory, Utah, the day that East met West. The greatest railroad that ever was, a golden spike on the crest. And it started with a board, just a piece of pine. Started with a board, and it ended fine. The biggest things in life, they gotta start small.
Alright, so we got the door on from Volkers. We named it South Danville Ice, being here in Riverside. That was a common name for Riverside. And I guess you gotta hold that door with your ankle. This is the last time we'll be able to show you this, because this is all gonna be filled with ice tomorrow night. We're putting in 3 or 4 tons. The blocks are estimated to be 300 pounds each. They are 3 feet by 4 feet by a foot, which is pretty doggone accurate to what they would have been in the 1800s. If the river was about a foot thick, they'd cut them into 2 to 3 foot wide blocks, and 4 or 5, I've even seen 6 foot long, until they get them to shore, and sometimes they break them into smaller ones. So what we're planning here is we have an approximately 10 foot by 10 foot space in here. We'll spread the straw down just because it's probably going to get a little swampy in here as the ice melts. And we'll stack them 4 high, 4 high, 4 high, 4 high. I can just about stand up in here. The ceiling's about 6 feet. So with sawdust, the ice stacks being a foot thick times 4 plus sawdust, it'll be close to the ceiling. And we'll leave this open in here. So the plan will be during the Iron Heritage Festival, we'll open the door, get people in quickly, shut the door, maybe have a kerosene lantern in here and let people have a few moments in an old-fashioned ice house and then get a feel for what it would be like. Good enough? Let's grab it low.
Yeah. No, top quadrant. No, top quadrant.
Right there. Just a kettlebell.
You're the one who's back up some.
No. Yeah, just spin it. We want sawdust between them or just? We'll probably back the kids up. Good save.
You start with a board and you build it tall. We'll batter up, the umpire said, need dusted off the plate. Up steps the great Hank Aaron and beat the record set by the Babe. Cal Ripken Jr., Ernie Banks, Willie Mays. Great plays by the greatest players, greatest game ever made. And it started with a board,
until they stopped.
just a piece of ash. Started with a board, the pitches come fast. Biggest things in life, they gotta start small. Start with a board, and you build it tall. The screams of Jimi Hendrix, the soul of B.B. King, the acoustic sound of Woody Guthrie frailing on his strings. All of the great music, guitars strumming chords, from Silent Night to rock and roll, they all started with a board. Started with a board, just a piece of pine. Started with a board, and it ended fine. The biggest things in life, they gotta start small. You started with a board, and you build it tall.
Settled, we couldn't open the door anymore. So here we are, we're gonna open the door for the first time. Go for it, boys, you strong enough to do it? Let's see if there's still ice. Okay. Check the pile, what's in there? Oh, I don't know, there could be something in that sawdust. Oh, what's that hard thing you just stepped on?
This is just sawdust.
Wait. Dig down in there.
It's ice. There's wait.
Prove it.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Prove it.
It's still there. I didn't expect any. Yeah.
So tell me what you think, boys. Is it more or less than you expected?
More definitely. We were in there stomping around. We said it's not there. Then Calvin hit something with his foot. We dug around and still alive.
Let's take one last tour of it before it goes away. Going in. There's our pile of sawdust. Stomp around.
All of the great music, guitars strumming chords, from Silent Night to rock and roll, they all started with a board. Started with a board, just a piece of pine. Started with a board, and it ended fine. The biggest things in life, They gotta start small. You started with a board and you build it tall.